course, I'm going to continue in another circumference book. This one, we're going to talk about angles, okay? Just in case you didn't know, I got a quick little song I want to do. Some of my students know this, and it goes like this. I'm making it in the shape of a L, and it goes right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle. When we talk about a right angle, that's going to be exactly 90 degrees. It's going to be exactly 90 degrees. Right angle, right angle. The next one, if it goes inside, if it's at 90, one less than 90 is 89. So if you go from 89, 88, 87, 86, all the way down to 1. Yeah, I said it, 1. I didn't say 0. So between 1 and 89, it's going to be called an acute angle. But in my song, I said, acute little angle, acute little angle. So we go right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle, acute little angle, acute little angle. Now, opposite of acute is going to be obtuse. I said it in a real manly, deep voice because it's going to be bigger. That's the bigger angles. It's more than what? 90 degrees. So what comes after 1 after 90 is 91. 91, 92, 93, 94, all the way back until it straightens out almost, okay? Because if it was flat, it would be 180. So from 91 to 179 would be called an obtuse angle, okay? And then if it's flat, 180, that's a flat. So right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle, acute little angle, acute little angle, obtuse angle, obtuse angle. All right. So we're going to talk about circumference and the great night of Angleland. Circumference and the great night of Angleland. And what's happening here, we just talked about, they just found the maps of what? Angleland. Okay, and this is another math adventure by Miss Cindy Nushenwander, illustrated by Wayne G. Hahn. So once again, good story. And of course, awesome illustrations. So let's get into this math adventure. Circumference and the Great Nights of Angleland. More than anything, Radius wanted to be a knight. Every day, he practiced riding, sword fighting, and archery. His teacher was the brave old Sir Degrees. Degrees, okay, that's funny. One day, Radius' parents, Circumference and Lady Di of Amateur, came to watch his lesson. "Show us what you have learned," they said. It's all about the circles with this bunch. It's all about the circles. In the riding ring, Radius mounted his horse, and Sir Degrees gave directions. "Nightly right angle, trot," shouted Sir Degrees. Radius rode his horse at a trot to the center of the ring and made an exact right angle turn. It formed a perfect corner. "Now, double the right angle to make a straight angle," called out Sir Degrees. Radius rode at a full gallop straight across the ring. He came to an abrupt stop right in front of his parents. "Wonderful," they exclaimed. "You have learned so much." Okay, so that's why. Okay, he's good at that horse. He's been practicing. Now that makes sense. At supper, Sir Degrees said, "Radius is the best squire I've ever taught. He is ready to go on a quest." "He's not old enough," said Circumference, looking worried. Lady Di smiled. You were the same age, dear, when you went on your first quest. Radius sat up straighter. I am ready, Father. Please, let me go. Circumference slowed and looked slowly at them both. Finally, he smiled and nodded in agreement. Woo! Hurrah! Hooray! Shouted Radius. I will make you proud, Father. But how shall I find someone in need of help? Our neighbor, King Lel, has disappeared, Sir Degree answered. Many have set out to find him, but none has ever returned. I will search until I am successful, said Radius. The next morning, Radius made ready to go. Remember your nightly right angle, Radius, counseled Sir Degrees. It will serve you well. Circumference and Lady Dot gave Radius an old family heirloom, a medallion in the shape of a perfect circle. What are these numbers around the edge of the medallion? Radius asked. No one knows, said Lady Dot. But may it bring you courage on your journey. Radius bid them farewell and set off. I'm on a quest, he exclaimed gleefully. Wow. I'm kind of excited for him myself. I wonder what adventure he's going to have this time. Radius rode for many days through the countryside. One day, he came upon a tiny village where all the cottages had rooftops pointed in steep angles. What a quaint little town, thought Radius. Mother would call it cute. He asked the villager about King Lel. His castle lies beyond the mountains of Obtuse. Obtuse, said the villager, pointing to the east. But take heed. There are tales of strange creatures and dangerous labyrinths. No one traveling there has ever returned. I hoped to be the first, said Radius. Farewell and thank you, kind sir. Up and down through the mountains of Obtuse, Radius rode eastward. All right, I hope he returns. Finally, Radius came upon a walled castle surrounded by a watery moat. He rode cautiously onto the drawbridge. It creaked and groaned with every step. As he neared the middle, the drawbridge began to crumble. Uh-oh. Quickly, Radius urged his horse across. Just as they reached the other side, the old drawbridge collapsed into the water with a tremendous splash. Woo! That was close, Radius exclaimed. He rode through the high gates of the castle. In the courtyard, Radius saw a parchment hanging on the door. He took the parchment and read the fading writing. Once again, we talked about parchment before. Parchment is just paper. That's what they wrote on. They didn't write on paper. It was like parchment is like animal skin. Warning. Stranger, friend or foe, dangers wait as forth you go. You must make a nightly right, finding next big, straight, and slight. One wrong turn means loss to all, and a writing screaming fall. Find the right to reach the king, or you'll feel the dragon's sting. The brothers Zig and Zag. Uh-oh. I think the king has been kidnapped. And his kidnappers are named Zig and Zag. And so now, at least Radius knows where the king is. The question is, do you think he's going to find him? Ooh, I'm nervous for him right now. What can this mean? Thought Radius, clutching his medallion for courage. He rode through the doorway into a circular chamber. In the middle of the stone floor, Radius could see a carved circle with a line across its center. All around him, arches led to different rooms. Which way should I go? He wondered aloud. He read from the parchment. You must make a nightly rite. Sir degrees, and I practice many right angle turns. Just then, something flapped out of the shadows and bumped his arm. Oof! Grunted Radius as his medallion went flying. The medallion rolled away and came to a stop on the carved stone circle. Radius noticed that the number 90 pointed directly towards one of the arches. Starting at 0 on my medallion, if you go to the center and then to the number 90, that forms a right angle. That's the nightly rite, he cried. Radius swung himself back onto his horse and rode through the arches. That was a nightly rite, or 90 degrees. So that's what that medallion is for, okay? It's going to turn into a measuring tool for angles, okay? I like that. The way was dark and damp. Around him, unseen things scuttled in the corners. But by the light of a flickering candle, Radius read the parchment again, finding next, big, straight, and slight. What is big, he wondered. Could it be something even larger than the nightly right angle? He thought for a moment. The mountains of Obtuse were shaped like big angles. He remembered as Radius looked around for a way out. Spiderwebs caught his hair and tickling legs brushed against his face. Ugh. Okay. I don't like spiders crawling over me. I think I'll have a problem. All right, let's get back to the story. Sorry about that. I just thought about spiders crawling over me. Excuse me. Woo. Ahead, Radius saw several hallways. Each had a circle carved in front of it. If I hold the medallion over a circle, then the number measures the angle to the hallway, he said. The angle of the first hallway measured only 55 on the medallion. As Radius measured the angle on each hallway, he found only one that was bigger than a right angle, which again is 90. One angle measured 120 on the medallion. Radius entered the hallway, but it ended at a curving stairway. Radius dismounted and told his horse to wait here. Stairs are no place for you, he said. Stay here. I'll come back as soon as I can. All right, hope that horse listened. The stairway down was narrow and steep. I must be under the castle by now, Radius thought. He noticed that the farther down he went, the hotter it was. The stairways came to an end at a fiery pit where huge flames leaped up like angry, snapping jaws. Oh, that's personification. Okay, personification giving, lifelike qualities, like human qualities to inanimate objects. And fires don't really, have teeth. So that was a personification. I like that. The stairs came to an end at a fire pit where huge flames leaped up like angry, snapping jaws. 2 bridges spanned the inferno. That's synonym. Inferno is a synonym for big fire. They both started from the same spot, but they crossed the fire pit at different angles. After big, the parchment reads straight. Radius remembered. That's 100 on my medallion. You can get an angle straighter than that. You can't get an angle straighter than that, excuse me. He took a deep breath and ran across the bridge that went straight over the roaring fire. On the other side, Radius heaved a sigh of relief. Woo! He opened up a heavy door and entered a dark tunnel. The door clanged shut behind him. All right, that's what you call adventures. Raspy sniffling came from deep in the darkness. 4 glowing eyes appeared and began moving slowly toward him. Uh-oh. What do you think it is? You think it's Barnaby and his boys again? Or you think something else is out there? Clutching his medallion, Radius hurtled down the tunnel. As he passed the eyes, he brushed against scales that felt like cold chainmail. Chainmail was metal that the knights wore to protect themselves. Radius ran blindly on, stumbling as the floor started to slope upward. Behind him, heavy thumps, thump, thump, thumps echoed in the darkness. Uh-oh. The tunnel ended. Other tunnels shot off at different angles. In front of each was a carved circle glowing with its own light. The parchment says, a slight angle. Radius mumbled, like the rooftops in that cute little village. I'm sorry, I just caught that. A cute little angle, a cute little village. I got you. I passed through. A cute little angle is what I need. Something less than 90 on the medallion. The smallest angle measured 40. So he turned there. The thumps, the thumps, the thumps, the thumps, the thumps grew louder. Something sniffled and sniffed as if hunting for him. I'm getting nervous for him. Hope we can get out of there. Radius ran through the darkness. Next will be the right to reach the king. Another nightly right, angle of 90. At least the last angle would be easy, he gasped. He was wrong. In the dim light, he came across 4 corridors, which all seemed to be right angles. Fingers fumbling, he measured quickly with the medallion. 90, 90, 90, and 90 again. Slow down, Radius told himself, and measure once more. He carefully lined the medallion and read the number. The first angle was 93. Too big, he said. The next angle was 85. Too small, he muttered. The third one was 89. Almost right, he said. Then there was a great whooshing sound, and thick smoke filled the tunnel. What was that about? Radius was caught inside a dark cloud. Coughing and spurting, he felt his way along the remaining corridor. I hope this is the one, he whispered. Thump, thump, thump. Something was lurching before him. He stumbled. Suddenly, Radius ran into a wall of stone. He was trapped. Uh-oh, folks. The thumping grew louder and louder and louder. Thump, thump, thump. Whatever it was big, and it was right behind him. Uh-oh. All right, let me calm down. I got hype myself. Let me calm down. Woo. Oh, no. What this is, it got some big eyes, though. Radius turned around and stood with his back to the wall. His arm bumped into a latch, a handle. He pushed with all his strength, and the door swung open. Woo! There's some dragons. Oh, and I see that's the king. Okay. Brilliant sunshine met his eyes. Welcome, a voice bellowed. Who might you be? Radius squinted into the brightness. I'm Radius, son of Circumference and lady Diameter, a squire to Sir Degrees. I'm searching for King Lel. It seems you have found him, chuckled the king. But how did you do it? Radius bowed. My medallion helped me figure out which path to take. Knowledge gave me the courage to keep going. But there were frightening things in there. A whimpering came from behind the door. King Lel opened it wider. Radius jumped back. Dragons! A pair of them! They are my loyal pets, the Lel dragons, explained the king. He scratched their heads. The poor beast and I were trapped in the maze by my evil cousins Zig and Zag. But we are free now that you have found the way through the labyrinth. Young squire, he continued, anyone brave enough and smart enough to figure out the maze deserves his knighthood. Oh, congratulations, congratulations. So yes, he found the king. He found the king. With Radius's medallion, they easily found their way back through the maze. To celebrate King Lel's freedom, invitations were sent to all the neighboring knights and ladies. Circumference, Lady Diameter, and even old Sir Degrees came. Radius and King Lel went to the moat to greet each group of guests. When King Lel whistled and called out, hey, pair of I'm sorry, I just caught that. Pair of Lels, okay? Parallels, okay. The two dragons stretched across the moat. Side by side, they became a living drawbridge for the guests to cross. Oh, they set me up for that one. Pair of L's, parallels. Because we talked about parallel lines, intersecting lines. Parallels. That's funny. All right. Everyone asked Radius how he found his way through the maze. I discovered the secret of the medallion, Radius said. The numbers divide a circle into 360 parts. I can use those parts to measure any angle. I call the parts of the circle degrees in honor of my teacher, Sir Degrees. Radius drew a picture of his medallion and took an arrow from his quiver. Let's say this arrow pointed to a hallway. The number shows how many degrees are in the angle. A right angle measures 90 degrees. A straight line measures 180 degrees. I call angles bigger than 90 degrees obtuse, after the mountains of Obtuse. Angles smaller than 90 I call acute. They look like the roofs in a small village I travel through. King Lel told Radius to kneel. For your bravery and intelligence, I knight you, Sir Radius, the king proclaimed. From this day forth, let this kingdom be called Angleland. Banners will fly on every castle tower. They shall show nightly right angles of 90 degrees, small acute angles, large obtuse angles, and straight angles of 180 degrees. Rise now, great knight of Angleland. The crowd cheered, hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! And Radius rose to greet them all. Angleland was the only kingdom to have a castle with a living drawbridge. The cry, parallels, 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 brought the two dragons over the moat. They became so famous that today, parallel means any straight line side by side. Okay, y'all funny. I lost my place. Here we go. Side by side, the same distance apart, like the Lel dragons. Angleland is still there on very old maps, but today we call it England. Oh man, I had fun with this one right here. I had fun with this one right here. Please get this one. Look this one. This is called A Math Adventure, Circumference, and the Great Knights of Angleland. Miss Cindy Nushinwander is the author, and the illustrator is Wayne Jihan. And the main thing here was talking about measuring angles. Real quick, I'll do my song real quick, and then it's going to be time for us to go. And what's happening here, if you want to join me this time, please put your hand right here like an L and go right angle, right angle, right angle, right angle, which is 90 degrees, as they said. And, of course, has a square corner. And that's what's talking about those turns. Then you go inside. A cute little angle, a cute little angle. All right. Then you go backwards. Obtuse angle, obtuse angle. And acute angle is going to be from 1 to 89. So from 1 to 89, that's going to be an acute angle. Obtuse angle is any angle that's going to be 91 to 179. Because a straight angle, that's going to be 180 degrees. All right? I want to thank you all for joining.